Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here on Share Talk for Wednesday, the 4th of November. Starting off with an old friend, 4D Pharma. You can see that the share is making some progress after that falling wedge break through a pound a couple of weeks back and finding support at and above a pound since then. Broken above the 20-day moving average at 107 today, and while we're above that, looking for at least the 50-day moving average rising nicely at £1.26. Obviously, bulls of the stock can dare to dream of the top of that broadening triangle from September up to £2 as a 2 to 3 month target, but we've got the 50-day moving average area hopefully over the next week or so. On to Bigdish, which has been in the wars of late, not surprisingly, given the lockdown considerations, etc. But we've got a hint of bullish divergence here on this support line there from June. Sort of falling wedge overall is the formation there, which is a positive, and the possibility that if we can break the 20-day moving average at 1.29 pence, there'll be at least a retest of the last spike in October up to 1.75 pence, hopefully sometime over the next 4 to 6 weeks. Dukemount is next, and here looks like it's slowly unfolding to the upside. Still need to break that 0.9 pence area on an end of day or a weekly close basis. That's been a lid on the share price since the beginning of June. But at least while we're above the 50-day and the 200-day moving averages around 0.7, and the longer we remain above them, the better the chance, or the greater the chance of an eventual break of 0.9 and a push to the top of the rising trend channel, rather wide one from October last year, heading towards 1.5 or 1.6 pence. A target there probably over the next to be hit there over the next 2 to 3 months, but there we are. On to Escape Hunt, which is the next contender for the day, and here we've had slow progress until now anyway, with the sort of 3 steps forward, 2 steps back type of thing. But in the initial November low at 7.5 pence, looks as though that was the final flush out for the weak hands there. Also bear trap below the 50-day line at 8.28 pence. But while we're above, at least while we're above the 50-day line, in fact that's the 200-day line there, very close to it as well, looking for 14 pence at the top of the broadening triangle from back in April. Hopefully that could be hit by the end of this month. Stock that I don't normally cover, but is making an impression today, Gattaca. Here we've got a break for the shares through there's a line of resistance there from way back in January. Also the 50-day moving average at just under 53 pence. And while we're above the 50-day line, looking for the top of that broadening feature from March up to 80 pence, hopefully over the course of November. IQAI is a stock which I covered recently and seems to have spiked up quite nicely. It was just breaking that line of resistance from September. A bit of toing and froing there on the support line there from March, but the current situation is that we just narrowly missed hitting the top of the channel around 8.5 pence today, 8 pence the high so far, and one would expect that to be hit over the next few sessions, especially while we hold above the mid-September peak at 6.44 pence on an end-of-day close basis. Good to see new situations bubbling up as well. We get fed up with the old faces. Here we've got Inks group on the runway. Nice move here with the break of the triangle at the beginning of October, and since then we've had support at and above the 50-day moving average at 4.92. The longer we stay above that 50-day line, the greater the chance of a move to the top of the March trend channel at 14 pence, hopefully on a 2 to 3 month view. If you're cautious on the shares, obviously you'd wait for an end of day or an end of week close back above the 200-day moving average at just over 6 pence. Inspirit still flashing around in terms of its price action. Good to see that it's initially we broke the initial target there around 0.13, and while we're above 0.13, we've got the chance of a best case scenario target, which I think I mentioned yesterday, towards 0.24. A high today 0.21.5, so not bad, but hopefully the shares will retest the main point, so a 1/4 pence area over the coming few weeks. But the upside valid at least while we hold above 0.12 and ideally above 0.13 at that resistance line there from January, which is just been broken. Jangada next, and here we can see that shares have managed to gap higher. Well, it's the second time in the last month they gapped higher, so very impressive, and also suggests that there's there's more petrol in the tank, let's say. Initial target here, the top of the trend channel from October last year at 6.25 pence. Best case scenario target over the next 2 to 3 months up to 8.5 or maybe even 9 pence at that June resistance line projection. The upside very much valid while we hold above 4.5 pence, which was the intraday peak of last month. Another situation which could be one to look for in the future is a sort of bottom fishing situation. Here we're hanging on onto this support line there from August last year around the 0.32 level. Ideally, there's no end-of-day close back below that. We seem to have just about broken this line of resistance from last month around 0.33. So let's see if there's any follow-through. Initial target there, the 20-day moving average at 0.52. But obviously, new lows there would not be welcome, even though we've got decent bullish divergence that suggests that we should finally be able to get off the ground on Rambler. Just a couple of stocks to go now. Synairgen, the first one, and here it looks as though the base building with W-shaped formation has been done. Ideally, we'd like to see an end-of-day close and no end-of-day closes below the 50-day line at £1.81. If we can get that over the next couple of sessions, then at least a retest of the main £2.20 to £2.30 resistance from last month could be on tap. Big target here over the next 2 to 3 months, up to £3.20 at the top of that rising July trend channel. And the upside really valid still while we hold above 156, the recent swing low. But really, it's all about holding the £1.80 area at the moment for Synairgen. Dish of the day and stock of the day has been Wishbone Gold, which has been mentioned several times here before. The big breakout here, I suppose, in the recent past was beginning of last month through 3.5 pence, and we've had this very good step-like action here. So it's 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, with good step-like action with new support generally coming in at old resistance or near to it. Current situation is that while we're above the last peak at 9.3 pence, looking for a retest of 12 pence. But that was the target, the last target when the stock was mentioned, so we've hit that on the nose today. But an end of day or a weekly close above 12 pence could open up a best case scenario target over the next couple of months as high as 18 pence at that red resistance line projection from April last year. So looking pretty healthy on Wishbone. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.